Nigeria and outside the shores of Nigeria. My name is still Ifeanyi Okowa. I'm not alone in the studio. I have very important personalities in the studio with me, and of course you have seen their faces and you're seeing them again. We're going to do this together this morning. I have Udeme James in the studio. Udeme, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
And also I have Jennifer Nduka. Jennifer, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
All right, don't forget, join us on all our social media platforms. You can see them on the screen. Just join us, hook up to what we're doing this morning. All the conversations we're talking about this morning are listed on our platforms. Don't forget also, you can drop your comments, make your contributions on the topics that we're talking about. And of course, we'll take as much as we can. All right, quickly, we'll start with politics 2022-2023. And just a few days ago, some speculations came that yes, some wicked River State governor is emerged as the deputy, the vice presidential candidate of the PDP, that is Atiku, chose Wike. But now that story has changed. Of course, it was a speculation. Just yesterday, Atiku Abubakar, that is the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, picked Okowa, that is Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, to be his VP ahead of the race, the 2023 presidential race. We'll take a look at the video where Atiku declared Okowa as his running mate for 2023 election. And when we come back, we'll have to analyze that event. We'll be right back.
It is a difficult decision that I am called upon to take, but I'm not afraid of taking difficult decisions. But as someone hoping to lead a complex country such as ours, tough and difficult decisions will remain a part of my everyday life. Let me therefore start this momentous journey with a crucial decision about who among the eminently qualified shortlists will be my running mate. Accordingly, let me state that the person I have chosen as my running mate possesses those identified qualities. He personifies not only the seriousness the current moment represents for our country, but also the future that our young people yearn for and also deserve. He is a serving governor who has demonstrated in his state and through his conduct that governance is about service to the people. I know that he will not only add excitement to our already energized ticket and campaign, but will also help to bring focus, discipline, and stability to our government come 2023. I am pleased, therefore, to announce here my choice of running mate who will help to lead us to victory next year, not only in the presidential election, but also in the governorship and legislative elections. And he will be by my side as I work hard every day to provide our people with security, revive our economy, improve education, and unite our country. He has both legislative and executive experiences. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the ticket the next Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Governor Ifeanyi Okowa.
PDP's presidential candidate for the 2023 election in the person of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, declaring Ifeanyi Okowa, governor of Delta State, as his running mate for the almighty election. Of course, 2023 is an almighty year where we will have to elect some persons, bring them in, and then send some persons out. But now, this declaration of Okowa has generated some controversies, where some are saying, okay, yes, Okowa is the man to beat, while some are saying, no, why did he choose Okowa? Let's get your own opinion on that. What do you think?
Thank you so much, Faith. There was a rumor that was trending on social media for some time ago that the PDP standard flag bearer of People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, wanted to choose His Excellency Nyesom Wike as his running mate. But all of a sudden, was it yesterday?
Yes. Yes.
And there's another one that was also trending, and this I think is amazing. It's official now. I saw it on the official Facebook page of His Excellency Atiku Mbaka. That's Senator Ifeanyi Okowa is running me. But for me, if I should suggest, I would say that Wike he would have stand a good chance of gathering vote for the party. A lot of things are happening that people are saying. I think I have to maintain my standard. That when we are talking about a VP, we are talking about a running mate, we are talking about which that person should have electoral value. This is what people are trying to say, and this is a governor that, the governor is from the south, the geopolitical zone, that is Delta State. Why Wike is also from that zone. That is also good. That's the decision of the party. But if I will maintain my stand, I would say that that Wike would have been the best person for the job. Wike, what happened in the just concluded presidential primaries is a clear indication that Wike is a strong force. He has a formidable structure in the party that would have gathered so much vote for the party. But it is a decision of the party to choose their own running mate. But I think Wike would have been the best person for the job.
But the party is saying that it is not their decision to choose a running mate for a candidate. It is left for the candidate to choose. And now Atiku Abubakar has chosen. And then from that video, he was saying that, of course, it was a hectic thing for him to choose someone. But then at the end, he has to choose one. Of course, he agreed that all the persons nominated by the National Working Committee of the PDP were all qualified to be his running mate, but then he has to choose one person, and the person he must choose must be someone that is fit to be president. Even whenever you call him, you call upon him tomorrow, he can come up and become president. But now he has chose Okowa. So you make mention of having electoral value. Can you address more on
yes,
that?
If I should throw more light on that, I will say that when electoral vote has to do with somebody that can gather votes. Atiku is from the northeast geopolitical zone, if I'm not mistaken. Why he had His Excellency, the River State Governor, is from south, that's River State. And this is, you notice that PDP, when you're talking about the south geopolitical zone, Akwa Ibom State, River State, Abia State, most of these states are PDP states, apart from Ebonyi State and which other state. Even Enugu is also what? Okay, from the south geopolitical zone we have around, Akwa Ibom is a PDP state, River State is a PDP state, and even the Delta State is a PDP state. So we are talking about electoral value. I'm talking about somebody that would have been able to gather enough votes here so that it will complement the vote we have in other geopolitical zones. That's what I'm trying to say. So it is now, well, it is like I said, it is the decision of the standard flag bearer to decide who becomes his running mate.
All right, let's come to you, Jennifer.
Okay, for me, I feel it's a fair pick. Having to pick someone from this geopolitical zone, it's a fair pick. At some point we were thinking that it was going to be a not something or a Muslim ticket. Yes. So him having to pick someone from here is a fair pick. But when it comes to politics, like my colleague has mentioned, he needed someone that can garner more votes for him. For him to be able to emerge as the winner. This politics of a thing has to do with, having to gather a lot of votes for yourself. Now, in my own opinion, Wike was quite in a better position to be able to help him garner such votes, seeing as he performed during the primary elections. We understand that he came second after Atiku, after Atiku, yes. So with the influence he has and the structure he has over time, he could have brought more votes to their side.
Okay, well, some arguments are saying that, Southeast have been marginalized again. The PDP have marginalized Southeast. The APC did the same. And since they did not get the presidential ticket, why couldn't they have gotten the VP? And some are saying that Ifeanyi Okowa is an Igbo man. And some are saying, no, he's not an Igbo man, that he's from South. Because Igbo men are people that are from Southeast. But some are saying that it is a fair play, even if you're from South or you're from Southeast. So far, it is coming from the southern region. So let's look at it from that angle. What do you think? Do you think that PDP or Atiku took the right decision to pick a South man against a Southeasterner? Okay,
my own stand is that particular assertion is inconsequential. Okay. Because there's a remarkable difference between a geopolitical zone and a tribe. Well, if you have been, I've been to Delta State before, get to know that what's it called? Delta State has so many dialects. We have Delta Igbo, yes. Am I right? we have Orobo.
Even Ifeanyi is an Igbo name.
Thank you so much. So Ifeanyi is an Igbo name. I've been in Igbo land for some time. So when you're talking about, we should not bring in sentiment to politics. There should be fairness in politics. So I think if PDP actually have intention of zoning the VP slots to the south. So even if Ifeanyi is from Delta State, they should not bring the sentiment of what we call this person is from Igbo. But if I may answer your question about marginalization, yes, it's true. Igbos have been marginalized. Because I was actually thinking that maybe if they don't consider the south your political zone, they should also pick somebody from the southeast. Because for some time now, it's obvious that these are the two zones. If you look at since the democracy started in 1999, that the two zones have been marginalized is the southeast geopolitical zone and the northeast.
But do you think now that PDP has lost the vote of the southeasterner since he did not pick a southeasterner to be his running mate?
I can't maintain my stand on that. I stand to be neutral because when you're talking about, we have people with different political views. Even in the southeast political zone, we have some people that see canvassing support for a PDP, especially the party faithfuls. Am I right?
Yes.
So when you're talking about, they will not lose their vote. But we have how would I call it, a president, Peter Obi is also dominating this particular zone. They are not going to be, it's going to be, the chance is going to be too slim. Don't know if you understand what I'm driving at. The chance is going to be too slim because we have a presidential candidate here in the name of, in the person of His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. So the chance may not be all that too large like what happened in 2019.
Well, Ohaneze Ndigbo has come out to say that, Atiku has made a very huge mistake by not picking his running mate from Southeast, and that he has lost the votes of the Igbo people. Well, Ohaneze Ndigbo is the body. We don't know about the individuals, Igbo individuals, but then they are yet to say the particular party they are going to give their full support. But then what you need to do is just to get your PVC and wait for the right time and do the right thing when the time comes. There's still trending issues. AF Television this morning. Join the conversation on all our social media platforms. Drop your comments, make your contributions, and we will take as much as we can. I'm not alone in the studio this morning. I have Jennifer Ndu Carlo and also Udeme James doing justice to all the topics that we're talking about this morning on trending issues. Okay, let's move ahead and go to Femi Gbajabiamila, the House of Reps Speaker. You know that the primaries have come and gone, and some persons have emerged as candidates. Some are returning to the National Assembly as far as the primary is concerned. Of course, the big game has to do with the 2023 general election. But Gbajabiamila seems to be not too comfortable with what is happening. And of course, in an interview, he said that about 170 rep members lost out in that primary election, and he is blaming it on the process. Let's take a look at the video. I'll be back to talk about it.
It wants to say here that the legislature has once again suffered losses. The loss really is not for members who lost. It's a loss to democracy, to the institution, and to the country. If it means anything, I know and I am aware that many of our members did not lose their primaries because they were rejected by their constituents. No, far from it. Many of our members lost because of the process which we foresaw in the House of Representatives. The delegate system, which unfortunately is not what a delegate system is supposed to be. Many of our members lost because they were not even given a fair shake or a fair shot. We have good legislators, both here in chambers and back home, who are probably not coming back because of this same process. When we fought for direct primaries in this House, we knew exactly what we were saying. And it is that fight and the kick and the pushback by many who knew or felt they knew what they wanted to do that has now become the bane of the institution of the legislature. It pains me very deeply that the process has gone the way it has gone, where willy-nilly people are changing names, not just delegates' names, but even some of our members who won are now being deprived of the fruits of their labor. We will continue to push. We will continue to fight for our members. But it's not our members that we're fighting for. Let me make that very clear. We're fighting for democracy. We're fighting for the institution. And we're fighting for this
But
country.
as the House of Reps Speaker in the person of Femi Gbajabiamila, of course, he's saddened with the outcome of things. Of course, things did not pan out so well for some of the House members, but for him, he's safe. Of course, he won his own constituency ticket, but some others, about 170, lost the ticket. And he's saying that this House, that is the House of Reps, fought so hard for direct primaries to be used. Of course, direct primaries is when you bring in the people to do the primary election, but then they had to opt for the indirect primary where the delegates were used to bring out the person. Of course, sometime in this program we'll analyze the delegates. Of course, these persons, they are one of the problems of Nigeria, if I'm permitted to say that. And of course, they have the privilege to pick the persons that we will have to vote in or say no to during the general election. But now Femi Gbajabiamila is saying that this process of delegates is a problem that is the reason why some of our members are not going to be returning to the House come 2023. Let's get your view, Jennifer.
Well, on the issue of delegates, first of all, I feel like the direct primary bill should have been signed, because these are the people that know what these persons have done for them during their previous tenure. So they can actually say whether or not they want this person to return or not. Now,
It's the people.
Yeah, the people.
Okay.
Now, in the case of indirect primaries, in some places, that is a quite acceptable form of election, because for you to even be a delegate, you have to be someone that is trustworthy. You have to be someone that knows what exactly the people that have picked you up want. You should know what it is that their desires are. Now, in the case of these primary elections, we all know what happened during the elections. We all know how the delegates were, greased, how their palms were greased,
Okay.
if we're allowed to say so on television.
Okay.
So because of that, many people were not voted in because of what they've achieved or because of the kind of persons, the kind of contributions they've made in their different constituencies. Most of them were elected based on what they were able to give, and that is unacceptable. I think that is why Femi initially moved the motion for direct primaries, and now, as he had speculated, as he had envisioned, it actually happened like that. The elections went in a way that it wasn't supposed to go. So I think he has every right to complain.
Okay, but the complaining, will it solve any problem?
We all know that it won't solve any problem, except if they decide, to do a rerun of the elections and all of that. And we all know that primary elections have closed.
Okay.
Now.
All right. My own position on that, I will say that indirect primaries is an injury to democracy. The reason I'm saying that is that it is the people in the community, it is the common man that is feeling the burden that should not be delegates.
Exactly.
In a country
But the delegates, the delegates are still people in the community.
yes.
Are they not feeling the heat?
They feel the heat.
What is
They
happening?
they
feel the heat, but for
know,
me, excuse, I feel
okay.
like when it's a limited number of persons, they now begin to think more of themselves.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now, if it was in a public setting like a direct election,
Yes.
where there were lots of people, even if you wanted to grease the palm of some people, by the time you think of the number of persons that you're going to have to grease their palms, I think you would be like what would be.
Now, let me also come up now.
Okay.
In a country where we have more than 200 million Nigerians, we have you just concluded what's it called primaries. We get to understand that we have more than 2,322 delegates voting for what? Voting for what?
For one
For
person.
one person.
Don't forget
Do you understand the permutation I'm talking about
it?
here?
From
From the 774 local government area. So this is how many persons do you have? More than 200 million persons. So it's an injury to democracy. Like I said, I want to maintain my standard. This delegate of it in the direct primaries, issue should be enacted to law.
And excuse me, and delegates are also human beings. Sometimes humans change. We could say something outside where people are listening to us and where people hold us responsible for some of the things we do. But now when we leave that area, when we leave that place and move to another place, sometimes we tend to, do things the way other people do. You understand? Most of these people may have sworn within their members and, constituents and everything that they would push the people's desire forward and all of that. Now having to go to where it is they handled their elections and seeing how people were doing things, they decided to probably change and, do what was not supposed to be done.
So what is the way forward?
For me, the way forward should be this direct primary election bill having to be signed, because I don't think it was signed at the time it was moved. Because Femi was saying something about it not being signed. If it were signed, I don't think the primary elections would have gone the way it did.
Well, the deed has been done. Of course, the primaries have come and gone, and we're just waiting for the main campaign period to start, where the candidates will have to do their bit, and then the people will do their own, and God will finish the rest for us come 2023. Don't forget, today is the deadline that INEC, that is Independent National Electoral Commission, has given to all political parties. Bring your candidates, bring their running mates. If you fail to submit their names after today, just forget it. Of course, PDP has done that, but APC is yet to make public the running mate of Tinubu, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and also other parties like Labour Party and the rest of them. Of course, it's still trending issues. AF Television, this beautiful morning. Join the conversation. Drop your comments on social media platforms, and we will take the much as we can. Okay, let's move ahead. We're still trying to see how we can transform the world and Nigeria and everything. Let's move away from Nigeria to Saudi Arabia before we come back to our country to look at some of the issues that are trending also. In Saudi Arabia, since yesterday, the Arabian government have started a launch. They went to shops raiding, looking for toys, clothes, everything that has rainbow color that is said to be projecting or promoting homosexuality. And of course, so many people have given their own opinion to that. Of course, in the video that we saw, the pictures that have been trending online, we saw some of the things that they were taking away from the shops as packs, pencils, all these children toys. And of course, it was rainbow color, these beautiful colors. But then they are saying that these things are projected, they are indirectly promoting homosexuality. What do you think?
It's uncalled for. It's not acceptable. I think we should not welcome it. Okay. In a country where we are trying to bring in morality, I think this should not come to play. So I think the Saudi Arabia government should also come to this. It's not good.
How is it not good?
Well, you're talking about, this is the same sex this year.
No, they're not promoting it. They're saying that these toys, these pencils, these children toys that are rainbow color, they are indirectly promoting homosexuality.
Okay.
So the Saudi Arabian government is fighting against homosexuality, and they are trying to erase all these objects from shops.
It just is a clear indication. It's almost the same thing. Anything that symbolizes what's it called, homosexuality, I think they're on the right track.
Okay.
Anything that promotes, how would I call it, homosexuality should be erased. I think they're on the right track.
So you think that all these children toys, from the ones I'm seeing, to me, it's not. Okay, let's get your own opinion, Jennifer.
Okay, while I respect people and their choices, this issue of same-sex relationship has caused more harm than good to the society. Now it has gone past individuals desiring what the path they want to follow. Now they want to impose it on the children, because for them to have produced these toys for children that symbolizes the LGBTQ community, they are trying to impose these things on the children, and it's unacceptable. Like my colleague has mentioned, they shouldn't even have done so in the first place. Now, if they themselves, as grown-ups, adults that can make decisions for themselves, have decided the path they want to take, they should allow the children make their own decisions when they grow. And the Saudi Arabia government having to, destroy all of these toys and all of that is actually a step to having to, totally eradicate it from the system, the country, and all of that. And most countries should even be able to adopt that. While we respect people and allow them to, live as human beings, each person has his or her rights, and what it is they want to do, who they want to become. The fact that homosexuality has, both in religious sectors and all of that, it is causing a lot of problems. It's really causing a lot of problems. I wish that people, even if they wanted to do that, they should allow the children be who they want to be. They should allow the children decide for themselves what they want.
But the Saudi Arabian government is bent on cracking down on homosexuality because, Disney produced a movie, and in that movie they are trying to promote same-sex marriage and relationship, and they told them, remove this particular scene if you want this movie to fly in our country. But then Disney refused to, and you know what they did? They banned the movie. You cannot see it in any cinema in Saudi Arabia. And of course, they have a Sharia law that says that if you're involved in all this gay marriage and everything, gay relationship, the penalty is death sentence. But we have such law in Nigeria as well. I think it was 14 years imprisonment or something. Gay, lesbian, but I don't know if it's still functioning.
If it's even effective. One thing about Islamic countries is that they are very particular about what it is.
Yeah, they're very specific. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Whatever they said is what is actually going to happen. You do not. They do not decide to punish somebody for a particular offense, and in the long run, cut down, or because of sentiments and all of that, decide not to do that. Same-sex relationships and all of that. It's really unacceptable, both in religious sectors and morally. It's really bad in all sectors.
Part of our own world.
Okay, let's come back.
It's in all sectors.
All right, thank you so much. Let's come back to Nigeria. It's one thing for you to, what's it called, for a law to be enacted, maybe by the National Assembly. It's another thing for the law to be implemented.
The implementation is always the problem.
Yes. The main thing is that, like I said, I want to maintain my standard. You see, in Nigeria, the same-sex marriage, I think there's a law like that forbids something like that.
I think it was Goodluck Jonathan that signed that bill.
Yes.
I think it's 14 years imprisonment.
See, when no police above the law. When you know that, when you tell your child, if you do this, I'm going to beat you very well. He will never do that. Child will never do that. When there's a law, I get it. Law controls people's the way people behave in society. If there's no law, you get to know
everybody behave whatever way they want to behave.
So I think the law, if it was enacted, it should be implemented so that people will behave well. Like same-sex marriage is not healthy for a good society, for a country like
I know of some places where they beat these people up to stupor.
Yes.
There was a video I saw sometime last month or so. They beat this man up. He was a cross-dresser.
Wow.
They beat him up so terribly that he couldn't even walk.
We have so many cross-dressers
so many cross-dressers, and they are become like I said, everybody is allowed their rights and everything, but how will I put it now? Whatever it is they're promoting out there is very unhealthy.
Yes,
it's really very unhealthy. And my major concern really is the children that they are trying to impose these things on. They shouldn't even impose. And Disney movies are what children watch the most.
Exactly.
Now that scene that was asked to remove, that wasn't removed. It's good that they decided to not fly the movie, because these children, from little ages, whatever it is we see or hear at the time, it becomes part of us. Yes. So these children, what they want to do is to start imposing this on them from this very little age, which is very, very bad.
Yeah, just like my colleague said, children, there is one particular philosopher, if I'm not mistaken, that says something that the man is an empty slave. It's a tabaraza, if I'm correct. You see, children, we should be mindful of what we show our children. Apart from what we are discussing now, the kind of movies they watch online can also corrupt their mind. So It's a clear indication that this issue should be erased. So I think what the government of Saudi Arabia did is they took a right step in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction.
Okay, let's come back to Nigeria and tell you that a popular Nollywood actor in the persons of Moses Armstrong have been arrested for allegedly defiling a 16-year-old girl. Of course, this news broke, and so many people have frowned at it. Of course, it's a very bad development, and the Actors Guild of Nigeria has come out to say this is not part of us, and they are condemning it. Of course, he was arrested in Akwa Ibom State. Let's get your view. What do you think?
Well, it is an allegation. It's an allegation. So until he is proven guilty by the court of law, it is still an allegation. So my own take is that if he has done that, it is condemnable. I think the wife of the governor of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency Dr. Mrs. Martha Odomi-Emmanuel, through her foundation, is it Foref, if I'm not mistaken, has been fighting against rape for some time. I think once you have
foundation is in charge of this particular
yes, the foundation is actually what you call fighting against rape. If you are caught if you rape a particular if you rape a girl and you are caught, the foundation will fight to make sure that you are prosecuted, like the person will come to do. So I think if he has done that, if he's found guilty by the court of law, what he has done is too bad, and I pray that he will not go scot-free. He won't go scot-free. He will be called to good.
Okay, let's get your reaction, Jennifer.
Well, I don't have much to say. While it's an allegation, there are some things that some individuals shouldn't be associated with. If he's clean and all of that, if he's a person that abhors this type of attitude or character, there are some allegations that are not even supposed to have been placed on him in the first place. So whether it's an allegation or not, there could be some sort of truths in it.
Okay, but let me. Okay, I think in addition to that,
okay.
Once you have money, and have influence.
You want to say that people will pin a lot of things to you.
This is political season, and the man is an influential person in the society.
Are you trying to relate with politics?
I'm not relating with the politics.
But he's not a politician.
I think he was one time I listened to the governor, if I'm not mistaken. One time he said to the governor. So I think I call it an allegation. Until he's proven guilty by the court of law. So if I want to say anything, if once you're influential in the society, somebody can just cook up something against you.
Well, that is true. Yes. We understand that once a person is influential, that a lot of stories about the person could surface, and all of that. In some cases, it's usually not true, because I feel like even if you're influential, there are some things you should not be associated. There are some places you're not even supposed to be seen. There are some characters you're not even supposed to exhibit.
But have you heard of some men of God that
were accused of such things? I've heard. We're waiting for him now to prove otherwise.
That is our stand.
Exactly, we're waiting for him to prove, because those men of God, some of those men of God actually were innocent of the allegations that were placed on them.
I think that's our stand.
They had to give evidences to prove that they were innocent of such allegations. So let us just wait for him to, come out. Let's wait for what the court says. Let's wait for what the decision is.
But we've had cases of these similar stories in Nollywood industry precisely, and where you heard that some upcoming artists have to indulge in one or two to get roles. You have to settle the director, you have to settle the producer, not monetary wise. This kind of a thing. So do you think that the Nollywood industry is supposed to be known for this? What do you think that Nollywood industry should be doing so that it can save itself from this kind of bad image?
The Nollywood, like every other institution, should be able to give people roles based on merit and what it is that they are able to do. Because sometimes when we even watch movies, I know that there are sometimes when you watch movies, you be like, this person shouldn't even be on screen because of the way the person acts. Even though we are not professional actors and all of that, when we see someone that is not doing so well on screen, we be like, this person shouldn't be there. Where did they pick this person from? Sometimes I begin to wonder if this person is not the producer. When the movie finishes and we start seeing the cast rolling up, I start checking whether this person is actually the producer, because the way the person,
maybe the producer will try to say
put himself in there, or sometimes I even check the surname to see if it tallies with that of the producer. It could be his brother or somebody that he knows. So I think they should give people roles based on merit, so that even if people are making such allegations, they are able to come out and say, look at, this is the kind of person this person is. We selected this person because of this and not because of what you think it is.
So, do you want to
I will say that the industry should be sanitized.
Okay.
The industry should be sanitized. Like my colleague said, he doesn't speak good of the industry. Like, though I've had something like this, and I think for me it's a yes, they've been doing this, I've not seen it before.
We've had so many reports. Even recently, one of the skit makers was accused of trying to get something from an upcoming.
I'm not disputing you. Even there was one of the actresses that came online and was like that she has not acted for some time because she has not been,
sleeping with somebody,
whatever you call it. So it's a yes, but I think the system should be sanitized. But I think they should have a professional an association should also come into that and sanitize, especially starting from the hierarchy, from those at the top, that if the person rules should be given on what? On merit, on capacity. It should not be given because of what you take to gain from the person.
Alright. right, let's take our final story on today's edition of Trending Issues. Of course, Nigeria has been hit up since yesterday or since Wednesday or so, and it's coming from Father Mbaka, the spiritual leader of Adoration Ministry in Enugu State. Of course, you know that Father Mbaka can be very controversial sometimes, and now he's back in the news, and this one has to do with Peter Obi. Of course, he said that Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate for 2023 presidential election, is a stingy man, so he cannot win the election. And of course, there are so many things he said there, and he also alleged that Peter Obi defiled the altar of God, that he needs to come to God's altar and beg for forgiveness before God will forgive him, and then maybe he will win elections. So many things that Father Mbaka said. And of course, Trust Nigerians, they sourced for a video that seems to be the genesis of that fight between Father Mbaka and Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate. Let's take a look at that video. We'll be back.
Brother, I want to governor. Gent, I got a chukwa. Not only home chukwa, what you could get, Maria. Oh, yeah, it means you don't want to do anything for God. Yeah, but I wrong, Father, even put the straight, as a nigga, I'm a good project. I want to have a cardi project. Okay, come to know your my name have a political statement. Father, my a political statement. Oh, you have not seen my Peter Obi have never promised things and failed. I'm a fundamental Catholic. Even when I couldn't know, can't me. But in my car, you can promise a Mary and Anambra. Praise the Lord. In your capacity and what God has done for you, Governor. Get money, okay, get money, get into what's in our call here. God hates stinginess. I'm the one I'm a quick auto. I'm a quick egg again. Otherwise, again, Atiku will fail. Oh, boy, back a paint to go, but on all time back. Get it. You can save your political destiny. Oh, 2019, election. Praise the living God. Iye game one work and you work at bazaar. O man wa moji.
Well, that's an old video where Peter Obi went to the adoration ground of Father Mbaka, and Mbaka asked him to tell the congregation what he was going to do for God. Of course, Peter Obi refused to make a public donation. Rather, he asked the church to give him a project. Just bring one project and I will fund it. And Father Mbaka said, no, God doesn't like a stingy man. You are a stingy man, Mr. Peter Obi. And now he is still repeating it that Peter Obi is a stingy man and he cannot be the president of Nigeria. Let's get your reaction, James.
It's very funny. It's very funny. You see, when he has to do with issues that has to do with men of God, sorry, I'm always neutral because God said he was going to judge everybody, including men of God, accordingly. It's not true.
Yes.
I try to be neutral because, but when it comes to this particular man, this man of God called Father Mbaka, I think the man is too controversial. Most times, when you go to social media and come and see the way people are dragging on social media, it doesn't speak good of the man of God, doesn't speak good of the Catholic faith. So I think the man of God, Father Mbaka, should concentrate on the pastoral duties and stop hitting on the politics. Talking about stinginess, for me, I don't understand. Most times you cannot differentiate between stinginess and somebody that's prudent in spending. I've gone through social media and I've seen a couple of pictures where Peter Obi went to so many schools and donated so many. I think he gave 1 million to a first class to first class graduates.
Yes, when he was governor.
When he was a governor of the state, and then
graduates.
yes, he went to some schools. He bought what's it called? He went to school of nursing and did so many things. And this is what we did. This is what is expected of a governor. So when he's talking about stinginess
for Nigeria, he gave her the remaining part. That is the $3,000+
to sponsor.
Take it, use it in your foundation,
yes.
and also she gave account of the people that are affected. Of course, she used it to settle a man that was bedridden, and the children were out of school, and a woman that fire gutted her. Yeah, and she's saying that there is a difference between prudence and stinginess.
Yes, I subscribe to that kind of stinginess. I think we need that kind of stingy leader.
Exactly.
Yes. If we have a president that is stingy, like he knows how to manage the resources of a nation, I get him in. He also spends extravagantly.
I don't think we'll be in debt.
I don't think we'll be in debt.
Exactly.
You get to know what is happening in the system.
You prefer someone that doesn't give shishi.
Yes.
I know they give shishi.
The thing about Mr. Peter Obi is not that he's stingy,
yes,
as Father Mbaka would say.
Yes.
Only that he spends his money on wise things.
Yes.
He spends his money
when necessary.
Exactly. He doesn't just spend on irrelevancies because he wants to, seem as though he's generous. You understand? I even have one question for Father Mbaka. What does he mean by defy the altar of God? How is it that Mr. Peter Obi defied the altar of God? Because he didn't drop some cash on the altar.
Why would you come to the altar of God without dropping something?
He has even done more than dropping something. He asked him, do you have any projects that you are handling? And I will fund everything. He didn't say I will fund parts. He said I will fund everything. And aside from that, we all know that aside from the project he was asking for Mbaka about, he has funded many other things. We saw the case of where he funded a Catholic nursing college. He gave them about 100 million naira. That is quite an amount of money for someone that is stingy. You understand? For someone that is stingy, he wouldn't even have dropped such amount of money. Maybe 500,000 naira.
Okay.
Or even nothing.
Or even nothing, yes.
In addition to that, let's come back to reality.
Okay.
Public phone is meant for what? The masses.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not meant for church.
It's not meant for a personal.
It's not meant for a pastor. So when you bring up something like this, that is why the thing is so controversial. People are saying a lot of things about it. Even there was even something later I read this yesterday that people call on the Catholic Church to tell Father Mbaka.
And to think that, Father Mbaka was thinking that if he comes out to say such a thing about Mr. Peter Obi, that the people would mellow down with their support for him. But unfortunately for him, he has garnered a lot of, supporters all over. So everybody's now like, a stingy man I stand. I will vote a stingy man. The generous men who voted for, what have they done? And all of that. So unfortunately for Father Mbaka, his claims that Mr. Peter Obi is a stingy man has otherwise made him more popular, in a good light. Because people are looking for who is actually prudent, and who knows how to manage the public funds. Because when public funds are managed, the country would stop borrowing. We will have a lot of debts that we have not even paid because of, incessant borrowings. So Mr. Peter Obi being stingy is not even... Father Mbaka should have mentioned something that is a red flag. A reason why the people shouldn't vote. If actually he wanted to say that Mr. Peter Obi wouldn't emerge as a president, Nigeria's next president, he should have mentioned a red flag. Being stingy is not even a red flag. You understand?
I think Father Mbaka should leave the Israeli pastors are political. They shouldn't come into partisan politics because, like, this is the same Father Mbaka came on 2019 and said that Buhari is the Messiah will have. A lot of things happening. So I wouldn't want to go to that. So I think it's high time the church should be should not the pastor, especially an influential pastor like.
Even if they have to be involved, they should be mindful of
this
and careful because they lead a lot of people. Yes. Now you see people that there are some people that whatever it is their pastors say they do. I'm not saying that is wrong. I'm not saying that is wrong, but still. People should be able to, you lead this number of persons. Give them the right information. Tell them the right things they should do, and do not come about causing, making controversial statements that would even make your followers look at you in a different sort of way.
Well, the Catholic Diocese of Enugu has reacted to Father Mbaka's outburst and claims against Peter Obi, and they have dissociated themselves from Father Mbaka, saying that this is not the position of the Catholic Church of Nigeria. It's just the opinion of Mbaka, and they want him to stay away and stop tarnishing the image of a good man, because they described Peter Obi as a good man. Let's see if we can take part of that statement. I'm just going to take the second paragraph, and it read, "The Catholic Diocese of Enugu hereby condemns and dissociates herself from such unbecoming and divisive utterances from Father Mbaka. We notify the general public that Father Mbaka's views on the matter are entirely personal to him and do not represent the position of the position of the Catholic Church of Enugu. In an effort to keep him united to the body of Christ, we enjoin him to refrain from making further provocative prophecies or utterances capable of heating up the polity. We assure the people of God and the general public that the Catholic Diocese of Enugu is taking the due canonical process." That is a part of the statement from the Catholic Diocese of Enugu in reaction to Father Mbaka's outburst against Peter Obi. When Father Mbaka is not comfortable with Peter Obi, so many Nigerians seem to be comfortable, and the Pope seems to be comfortable with Peter Obi, because we've seen pictures of him giving Peter Obi his blessings. And recently, the Almighty Stingy Men Association, we have a man in the studio. I don't know how they brought that their Stingy Men Association and why they should be stingy. It is not good for a man to be stingy if you are stingy. And the Stingy Men Association is now trending on the social media again.
And they have even adopted, Mr. Peter Obi as their member.
I am the chairman, I am the chairman, South Zone, Stingy Men Association of Nigeria.
No, she should not come out.
Please, people should not be stingy, especially in this period. Of course, so many people have said the present economy of Nigeria needs a stingy man per se. But what is the definition of a stingy man? Who is a stingy man?
It is, when you are talking about a stingy man, it is contextual.
Okay.
Depend on the usage. When you are talking about a stingy man, let's come back to what we have on ground. Let's come back. When you are talking about Peter Obi, people are saying he's stingy. I was going through, why is this man stingy?
I wonder.
I used my phone. I went to social media. I asked a lot of questions. I'm not from Anambra State. I've a couple of times I've met people from Anambra State say, what did this man do when he was the governor of the state? In fact, one of my friends told me that when Peter Obi was the governor of the state, that education was even free, that he was building hospitals around, and this is somebody that has political antecedents. And you see this kind of person, you say the man is stingy? No, that is not stinginess. So when somebody stinginess in this context does not really reflect the true nature of Peter Obi. I think we are talking about Peter Obi here. Yes. It doesn't reflect his personality. So the man is not stingy.
So are you stingy?
I am very stingy.
You are stingy?
Yes.
You are stingy or you are economical? Which one?
No,
there should be a difference between being stingy and being economical.
Yeah.
But I feel that the stinginess Father Mbaka is talking about is that Peter Obi doesn't drop. Okay. Not that he doesn't do other things.
Father Mbaka has not yet told us what Mr. Peter Obi did to him.
There's something I'm not telling us.
Yes. He hasn't told us what Mr. Peter Obi has done to him. Because there are lots of evidences to show that Mr. Peter Obi is actually someone that is a giver.
Yes, yes.
You understand? He's a giver. If he weren't a giver, there are many things that we wouldn't even be seeing surfacing online. We've seen pictures of where he donated lots of laptops to students.
To students, yes.
That is not what a stingy person would do. You understand? Father Mbaka has not yet said what Peter Obi did to him.
Okay, let's wait for Father Mbaka to tell us exactly what Peter Obi did to him. But then don't forget, get your PVC. That is the only license you have come 2023. Thank you so much, Best Dom, Kings Over, and so many others that joined us on our social media platforms. This is Still Trending Issues AF Television. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of the program. It has still been Faith Okanwa in the studio with Udeme James. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you.
And also Jennifer, thank you. Let's do it again next time. Thank you so much. Don't forget, read our news contents on our news website. Till I come your way next time, it is bye for now.